And we live, we live, we live. Can y'all hear me okay? Am I good in here? What's up, everybody? What's up? What's up? How's everybody's Sunday? World Wide West. We really in here, man. What's up, man? How you doing? My guy. Jay Marvelous, what's up, man? Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for coming in, man. Excited about your channel, bro. Excited about your channel. You already making a lot of progress. Big strides out here. Love to see it. Love it, man. How's everybody's Sunday, man? My plan is to do this every Sunday. Yeah, man. I appreciate it too, man. That's doing good things, man. And you're different. You're different. A lot of different things. The toy aspect to it, I love that as well. So you're mixing in a lot of good things. So keep it up, man. Yeah, I wanna start doing this every Sunday. Next Sunday I won't. I will be out. Super Bowl Sunday. Everybody enjoy the Super Bowl, so for sure. Definitely enjoy the Super Bowl. Don't worry about this next week. But the week after, we'll be doing it on Sunday, and I think I'll do a live stream maybe Wednesday before Ant-Man Quantumania comes out. We've got some things to go over with Ant-Man and Quantumania, which we'll touch on here too. But yeah. Said my car pooped on me and I had to change my battery, but other than that, it's cool. Damn, man, hopefully that gets fixed. Sunday's going all right. I haven't done much, just been kind of preparing for this and just thinking about this. Like my mind, like I've been saying, my mind is jumbled thinking about this whole saga, man. This whole saga is crazy. Like everything that they're putting out, and then they're trying to do it within basically 7 years. And everything is so scattered. And that's what I want to talk about this whole thing. Everything is scattered and we just don't know how it's all going to play out going into this like road to Secret Wars. But like I was saying, the Infinity Saga took essentially 11 years. This saga they're trying to do it in 6-ish, 7 years. So it's going to be interesting to see how they do it. But that's kind of where I'm at, man. Like I don't know how they're going to do. I think they're going to push a lot of things back. Even that's another thing. I have it in my notes right here. Doctor Strange 3 got fast tracked, and I think that's a huge movie to me. If you think about this, the first Infinity Saga, it was a very narrow focused story about this team. It's this team, this Avengers team, right? And against this Mad Titan. And then for me, it's like I keep thinking about how Feige is like, it's not just this narrowly focused thing. We got teams all over the place. We got characters all over the place, which is proven true after looking at even Phase 4. Like people are all over the place. Like freaking Moon Knight's over in Egypt, which is like we don't know like what's going on there. But yeah, we got people all over the place, and it's just I think that if you were looking at the Infinity Saga, like I was saying, it was narrowly focused story. They built up like Iron Man, Thor, Captain America. And then they gave us Age of Ultron, which kind of brought people together. And they did Captain America Civil War. And I think that brought a lot of people together. And also brought in some new characters, Black Panther, Spider-Man, which we got, Black Panther movie, got Guardians movies, like people outside of the Avengers, but they all came together at the end, which it made a lot of sense in the story. Here, it's like you're just gonna have different people in different places. Like Kevin Feige was saying, it's you got a supernatural place, which we've already seen some of the supernatural stuff. You got the street people, you got the cosmic people. You know, you got a young Avengers team being set up subtly. They're hinting at. Um, just a lot of different moving pieces that have to make sense, and they have to balance it with like they gotta balance it with us getting familiar with these characters so we care about them when the stuff starts going down, and also like moving the bigger story along as well. It's just hard to handle with everything that's out. Like I have things in front of me that's like I'm just looking at the phase in general, and it's like, holy holy cow, like how are they gonna do this? What are you saying? Yeah, it went from a few characters in phase, to then now we got all these new characters. And then you got the which I appreciate they did like some of these shows are showing like the evolution of some of these characters, like Wanda to Scarlet Witch, Falcon to Captain America, Loki's whole transition. It's a lot, but then you give us new characters like Shang-Chi, you give us what's her name? Black Widow's sister, I forget her name. Yelena. Eternals. Give us Moon Knight. And it's just there's a lot. There's a lot. And then they promise to give us more new characters, and I don't even know how they're gonna fit into it. And to me it feels like they're still almost with all the things we keep hearing, the rumors and people just and breaking this, like the insiders, the new news or whatever, it seems like they're still writing it. Like they're still writing how they want this event to go. Like I feel like nothing's really set in stone yet, but like they have a general idea of what they want to do, but like none of it's really like set in stone yet. What's up, Snowden? What's up, boy? How's your Sunday going, man? Just talking Multiverse Saga stuff, man. Tell her I'm with. Much rather than push stuff back because there's like I want them to. I think Secret War is gonna come out in 2027. Like their initial plan was 2025, which was crazy, but I think it's 2027. And from some rumors that we're hearing even recently is like they're gonna try to make it a two-parter, which that would make sense to me too, but just moved yesterday and had to go into work today, so now I'm heading home to unpack. Yeah, man. Yeah, you moved yesterday. Where'd you move to? Where'd you move to and from? But yeah, I think it would be easier if we start with like some of these projects that we know are kind of coming that haven't really been officially announced or officially like part of the slate. There's some that we know are coming. There's some that we know that they're doing that we don't know that's part of this saga either. Like some of these I'm like we keep hearing about Nova, for example, and it's like he's a character I'm hyped to see, but I don't know what they're gonna do with him. As opposed to like, well, as far as like this whole story, the whole Secret Wars path, like what's his role in it all? You know what I'm saying? Like there's some characters that I'm like, I don't know what their role is or what they're going to experience or what they're going to go through and what will it mean, So like a player like Nova is like, I don't know what's his purpose in this whole thing. I don't know. If you know from the comics, if he's part of this in the comics, let me know. I don't know though, but I'm interested to see him. And then you also have to remember Kevin Feige did say that there's gonna be stories that go towards the big overarching story, but then there's gonna be characters that are just like one-offs. I remember he mentioned that a while back during the Comic-Con. To make it a two-parter, they're already basically it's already a two-part. Yeah, one of the scoopers basically said, yeah, it's already a two-parter. Like the Kang Dynasty thing is part 1 and Secret Wars is part 2. So I don't know where they're getting this rumor from, where it's a two-parter thing now. That like Secret Wars 2-part. thing is coming from. I think somebody misspoke on that. It's got to be a misunderstanding going on there. So some of these projects that we're kind of looking at here that are part of phase 6, because my big thing is like connecting the dots from like getting characters that are dealing with what they're dealing with to their focus being Secret Wars Battle World and like all of that and Kang. So my thing is like where they go from, like how do they go from this to that, and it almost seems kind of random, which is another thing I want to talk about. But so like for example, Captain America's movie, right? He's gonna be dealing with the leader, Thaddeus Ross, the Red Hulk, Thaddeus Ross, and he's gonna be putting a team together to face all of that, right? But my question is like, how does it go from focusing on all of that to Kang? Like, what's the project that turns that into that? What I fear is that they do all of this through post-credit scenes, which I don't want to see. I don't want to see the overarching like things that come together, the big pieces that come together happen through post-credit scenes. I want that to be in movies or in shows, if that makes sense. They also said that everything after Kang Dynasty is on. Yeah, I saw that, and that's exciting. Everything after Kang Dynasty is part of Battle World. That's exciting. But do you get what I'm saying? Like, what are the projects that are the connectors of like getting us from what they're focusing on then to Kang? And I feel like a lot of these movies and shows are going to play the role of basically what Captain America Civil War did, where they kind of brought a lot of people together. Even though it was like a civil war between each other, it brought a lot of people to the screen. I feel like a lot of these movies, especially in phase 6, are going to do that same thing. We're no longer going to see just like, I know Snowden, you like to have your solo movies and focus on that solo character, but I think a lot of these moving forward are going to be mini Avengers stuff, because they cut out Avengers movies. So like some of these movies gonna have to have mini Avenger type feel to it, you know? So I think that's what we're gonna see. Well, Steve's movies have no effect on Infinity War. That's true. That's true. That doesn't have to have any effect on Infinity War. My question is just like, when does it change? Like how does it change from the focus being what they were focusing on to Kang stuff? And my thing is, I don't want it to be a post-credit scene. I want it to be played out in a project. Multiverse of Madness, it was dream walking, but it's timeline. Yeah. The incursion is going to be interesting too. It almost feels like there's a bunch of randomness going on with this saga. Like Infinity Saga was like you built up these characters, this team to face this Mad Titan, and like we were all invested in the build up. In this saga, it feels like there's going to be things that are happening all over the place, and then bam, random incursion. Like we heard from, the scoops from the Marvels, that a random incursion is going to happen like midway through this movie, or like, like towards the end of this movie, like a random incursion is going to happen. That's going to basically have the world come to a halt, which is going to be amazing to see. It's just like it's going to be like random chaos, and then like these characters are going to have to figure it out as they go, and that's going to be interesting to see how the audience. My bad, bro, I just spoiled that for you. Apparently I just spoiled that for you. I'm sorry. I might have spoiled that for a lot of people, but yeah, apparently it's going to be like an incursion is going to happen in that movie, and you know, like I was saying, we have people, we have people that are scattered around, and it's going to be like randomness is going to happen. It's like no build up to it almost, other outside of Ant-Man Quantumania and Loki season 1 and 2, and then I guess Doctor Strange stuff. But it feels like it's just gonna be like, bam, this is happening, and these people are scattered out, and it's gonna be like, how are they gonna like maneuver through this thing? So it's gonna be interesting to see how the audience takes that too. It's not gonna be just this narrowly focused, simple story anymore. It's gonna be some crazy chaos, and I think they're gonna do it with a lot of these Phase 6 projects, which haven't been announced, but from what we know so far, like Armor Wars, definitely going to be a Phase 6 project, which they're setting up apparently like a West Coast type Avengers feel to it, which that's exciting. We keep hearing about a Spidey 4 possibly, which I think Spider-Man is a whole nother side story, which I think they're trying to tell through this Secret Wars story. I think the Spider-Man is a side story with what they're doing with Sony, and I think them jumping back and forth and possibly jumping back and forth through the animation Miles Morales stuff. I think that's a story there that they're going to be telling in the Secret Wars saga, or the Multiverse Saga here. Shang-Chi 2, I think that's a big one. I think that's a big one because obviously, like, that's just not going to be just focused on Shang-Chi anymore. We saw at the end he's meeting with some of the Avengers people, and then what we think that the 10 rings mean is more Kang stuff, right? Like Kang is like Kang technology, the 10 rings, right? Like has some kind of similarities going on. So Shang-Chi 2 could be a big one in Phase 6, where like it plays a big role, almost like that Civil War type role, where like it's bringing some people together, but we're working on moving this story of this past Secret Wars forward. Not saying that Civil War did that, then like you were saying, Snowden, Civil War didn't do the Infinity Saga. It didn't have anything to do with Infinity Wars or Endgame or anything like that, but I think the purpose of it was just bringing the people together. Yeah, after this reboot, Miles is definitely gonna be part of it. And the Marvels is definitely a billion. Yeah, I think the Marvels is a billion block. I think the Marvels is a pretty big movie. We don't know too much about it, which is what I like about it. Yeah, see, the Fantastic Four is another. I was gonna get to Fantastic Four. That's another one that's like, I have my eyes on that one. I have a lot of thoughts about it because I think Fantastic Four will see truly what story they're trying to tell with Secret Wars. Because like we know in the comics, the intimate, you know, Reed Richards Doom stuff, and you got the whole like Nathaniel Richards Kang stuff, like all that's like kind of connected, and yeah, we'll get to see what story they're really trying to tell and how closely it's going to involve the Fantastic Four and Reed Richards, I think. And like we don't even know if Doom is part of all of this. Like we have rumblings that he was gonna be part of Wakanda Forever, like a post credit. Rumblings of him probably being in like Ironheart or something, controlling something in Ironheart. But we don't know where Doom comes into play at all. And it's a lot, man. It's a lot. Let me go back to these movies that we know are probably like Vision Quest is a show that's probably going to be in Phase 6. I don't know what they're going to do there. You know, Midnight Angels, how much is that going to be? How much is that going to play a role? You think the Kang Dynasty will fall and he will control Secret Wars? You think so? You think Doom is going to play a big role in this whole thing? I don't like the idea of Galactus being the first villain they fight in the movie. Yeah, I hear that it's Galactus too. Which, like, villains is another thing I want to talk about too. Is like, I don't know, some of these villains, like, what's their role in this whole thing? Like, we're talking about Mephisto. We're probably gonna see Mephisto now. We're gonna see Galactus possibly, Doom, Kingpin. Dude, we got Kingpin in Phase 4 and we don't even talk about it. We don't even talk about Kingpin. How crazy is that? He's supposed to be some terrifying, he's a terrifying villain. Like, we all know him from Netflix Daredevil. This dude was bashing a dude's head and decapitated a dude's head with a car door. Like, 4th episode. I forget which episode, but like, he's that terrifying. And then Marvel chose to show him in this light where he gets beat by, not beat, but he got basically outplayed by Kate Bishop, Hawkeye. Second day on the job, bests our boy Kingpin, and then he gets shot in the face, which is a very interesting way to have his first showing be that, in my opinion. Which is why I think people don't really talk about it, but we got Kingpin, we got freaking Kingpin in Phase 4. Side story on Kingpin, like another like crazy thing. This is how I view Kingpin, along with the Netflix Kingpin. But I was reading Ultimate Spider-Man comics, and very early on in that comic, he's meeting up with like some of his lackeys to talk about Spider-Man, and one of his lackeys talks back to him. And what he does is he puts a Spider-Man mask over this guy's head, and he like crushes this dude's head with his hands, with his bare hands. Like, gruesome. It made me feel like, dang, it was one of the first times in comics. I'm not like crazy in the comics. I don't know too much, but that was one of the first times in comics I was like, damn, that was uncomfortable. And he crushes this dude's head, throws his body into a river. So he accomplishes 2 things, where he basically sends a message to, Spider-Man that he's coming for him in the world, that he's coming for Spider-Man. And then also, like, to his lackeys, like, you're not gonna talk back to me like that. So yeah, Kingpin to me is like, he's an insane character. Like, he's crazy, based off of that, and just like in the Netflix Daredevil show, like, he's crazy. And then his first showing in the MCU was like him getting shot and him getting bested by second day on the job Kate Bishop. Was like, damn, all right. Anyway, we'll see more of him in Echo and the Daredevil show that they do. But like, again, like, what's his whole thing? Like, what's going to happen? I think Scoopers have and are running this genre of movie. Scoopers are ruining. I think you said ruining this genre of movies. I think so too. I think so too. I think so too. I think they're kind of leading the way as far as, like, I think Marvel makes changes based on some of the things that these scoopers do. So I think you're right about that, Snowden. Long chain of command, it's bound to, yeah. I saw, did you see the report recently that they're like, some of the people that work there, like, they can no longer bring their friends to some of these screenings, which I thought was crazy anyway, like how they even had friends be able to go to these screenings. And you definitely leaking stuff at that point. And we're getting rumblings of Midnight Season 2. Like, we've heard rumblings of Midnight Season 2, or Moon Knight, not Midnight, Moon Knight Season 2. Yeah, it's like gold if you can get, yeah, I mean, people are just going to be crazy about it. Even when, like, have you just seen them tweet a scoop out, or like part of a scoop, and like the comments are filled with questions about other things that people want to know, like what's going on here, what do you know about this, what do you know about this, it's like, damn, y'all really want to know everything about this stuff before it happens. It's crazy. I'd rather have no ideas about the big stuff. I don't mind little details, but like the big stuff I would want to like not know about. I've been good staying away from Ant-Man leaks. I'm not doing none of that. Not doing none of these Ant-Man leaks. But like Moon Knight season 2 is apparently like something, which I think they got backed into a corner on that one. Because I think even Kevin Feige said it was a one-off thing. And I think that people want to see Moon Knight interact with other characters. I think people want to see Moon Knight do some more stuff. Like, I know in the comics he's like kind of with the Avengers, kind of not, like he's off to the side, but they kind of call him in sometimes. And then, you know, he's got Midnight Suns attachments as well. So like there's many places that you can throw Moon Knight in, and I think people want to see him, and I, including myself, I want to see more Moon Knight. Yeah, that's just what I'm saying. People are demanding more Moon Knight. Like, no matter how people felt about that series, I think looking after the series, like now we know that he's good with himself, he's good with his personalities and all that stuff. Like, he's now that Moon Knight character that people like know and love. So I think people want that now. He's a good character. Just throw him. Yeah, you can throw him in so many places, like street level stuff, supernatural stuff, Avenger stuff. He can be all over the place. He's versatile. It's the question is this: if Oscar Isaac wants to do it. What else we got? Remember we got the Strange Academy update? Remember that came out? Want to do a Strange Academy thing to set up Strange 3, which they're fast tracking. Which I'm glad they're doing Strange. I think Strange 3 is a big, like, to me, that's a big connecting type movie. I think they got a lot they can connect with. I'm also interested in different dimensions, which I feel like they haven't really dove into yet. Like the MCU in general, they haven't really dove into like it's different than different timelines and different, you know, universes, but different dimensions is like a thing where I'm pretty hyped to see about, because that's stuff within the universe. There's like pocket realms and pocket dimensions. Who would you rather lead the Midnight Suns, Moon Knight or Blade? Probably Blade, since they already have him recruiting like Black Knight, and I don't know if Moon Knight kind of does his own thing. He's smart and he's very capable, but I think you want Blade as a more trustworthy person to lead it. Always happy to see Wong, can't lie. Yeah, Wong is cool. Eventually they're gonna have to make Strange the Supreme again, right? Or no? They can't be Wong as Sorcerer Supreme the whole time. Going around searching for help. You talking about why was he at Black Knight? Was he in Black Knight's crib? Was that his home though? I thought it was like the classroom. Looked like a classroom to me, but yeah, he definitely showed up. Which, speaking of Eternals, Eternals 2 is another thing we're hearing rumblings about. Which, if that's part of this saga, that's another one that's like, that's a big time movie that can connect a lot of cosmic stuff. That's a big time one. When they announced at Comic-Con, let's see, when they announced Phase 6, there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 slots that are not Fantastic Four, Kang Dynasty, and Secret Wars. 8 slots, but I'm sure there's gonna be more. by the time like it rolls around. But that's 8 slots, which we already know. Armor Wars is one. Deadpool 3 is probably one. Shang-Chi 2 is probably one. Vision Quest. Wonder Man. Doctor Strange 3 now. That's 6. Another, yes, whatever Spider-Man movie they decide to do. That's 7. That was like his uncle's man. Oh, it was his uncle's manor. I think you're right. Deadpool 3, yeah, Deadpool 3 is definitely one. Which that's gonna show off a lot too. Like we're gonna get a lot, but it's also gonna be like this Fox send off, right? That's what people are saying. Like it's gonna like this Fox celebration kind of thing, which is fine. But the purpose of getting Deadpool into the MCU, can they film and edit all these in time? That's what I'm saying, man. That's what I'm saying, man. I just don't. I don't know, man. I want them to take their time with this. It's a lot. And then like we keep hearing Ryan Coogler has signed on to do all these Wakanda series, and then that interview with Letitia Wright, she was already talking about Black Panther 3. Like they've already started talking about it. Is Black Panther 3 something that's gonna be part of this saga as well? Like we don't know. We don't know, man. And also just going back to like Fantastic Four. Sorry, I'm like all over the place because my mind is jumbled with all this stuff. But going back to like Fantastic Four, like when I was saying that we'll know then like what story they're really trying to tell here with this Secret War story. With it being like a Reed Richards, Nathaniel Richards, descendants of Kang, or Reed Richards Doom or whatever, however intertwined all that is. Like we'll know what story they're trying to tell. My only fear is that that's only one Fantastic Four movie. So like, can we really feel for Reed Richards and what he's doing? You know, it's not 3 build-up movies of, you know, Iron Man and all of this other stuff, and you know, when they tell the story of Iron Man and how he finishes, you know, it's very impactful. Whereas like this is one Fantastic Four movie. How's that going to be with everybody? Like how are we going to fall in love with the Fantastic Four? Or are they just going based off of like the name alone? Like everybody's just gonna love them regardless. What if Fantastic Four is not a hit? That would ruin some things. I think it will be though. I think it's gonna be a good movie. We heard rumblings of Miss Marvel too. Well, remember there was some rumblings of Miss Marvel too, the second season. You think Kevin is taking good care of them? That's why he's so hush about it. Specifically, what? Taking good care of what? Oh, Fantastic Four. Yeah, that might be a project that he has his hands in, probably, because he's been wanting to do Fantastic Four for a while. Who's the director? Is Daniel Creighton, if I'm saying that right? I think it's like Daniel Creighton. Yeah, I think Feige might be working hand in hand with the homie there on Fantastic Four. There's rumblings of a Silver Surfer project. Like, it's just some of these is like, where do these people fit in? WandaVision director. Right. Yeah, I think Shang-Chi 2 is gonna be a big one. Eternals 2 is gonna be big. People think we're getting a simple Spider-Man story for Spider-Man 4. I think we're getting a big. I think we're going big again. I think Spider-Man 4 is gonna be big, especially as Spider-Man 4 takes place after Kang Dynasty. What if Spider-Man 4 is like in a battle world situation? Black suit Spider-Man. We know Venom stuff is out there. We also saw that Phase 7 may even be part of this multiverse saga. Like Phase 7 may bleed into this saga as well. Yeah, he's doing Kang Dynasty. Oh. Wait, he's not doing Kang Dynasty and Fantastic Four, right? WandaVision director is doing Fantastic Four. The Shang-Chi guy's doing the Kang Dynasty stuff. I'm pretty sure. Pretty sure that's how it's going. Yeah, my hope is just like we spend more time with these characters. It's so spread out. Like, these characters just deserve time, to like have us invested in them. Dustin is doing Kang Dynasty, and he's the one that's, yeah, Dustin is the one that's he did Shang-Chi. Right. Yeah. So I do also have some characters of interest of like I was asking, like, what are some of these people's roles, or people that I want to see like what they do with these characters in this saga. One, Scarlet Witch, like she's probably my number one. I'm like looking at is like, what are they gonna do with her? What's going to be her role in this saga? Does anybody have any guesses? What do we think is happening with her? She could possibly show up in Coven of Chaos. She could possibly show up in Wonder Man. Possibly. Would she show up in any other movies? Because those are shows. Would she show up in any other movies? Interesting. So yeah, she's one that I'm like very interested in what they do with her. You think she comes back in Coven of Chaos? I heard that a variant of Kang wrote the Darkhold. Ooh, a variant of Kang wrote the Darkhold? So she has a connection with a variant already. Variant of Kang? Because what's the Darkhold is supposed to be written by. But didn't they already say? Didn't they already say in Multiverse of Madness that it was written by Chthon? Didn't they say Chthon made the Darkhold already though? Chthon. Didn't they already like? Remember they name dropped him in Multiverse of Madness. But I think I heard that rumor somewhere too. So that's interesting. Here's another character of interest for me in this whole saga. Adam Warlock. what do you think? What do you think he's gonna be able to do? Like, what do you think? What role do you think he plays in this whole thing? I'm interested in what Adam Warlock. I'm interested to see how deep they go with him. The Spideys, of course, heavy interest in the Spideys because I think they're going to be jumping from Sony to MCU to the animated live stuff. Like I think they're using them in all of that. All of that. I think they're the side story that like they could almost push that to be the main story in this whole thing. Like instead of the Reed Richards Doom stuff, which feels very late in the game to do when they come out, they could push the Spider-Man stuff to be, I don't know if at the forefront of it, but like play a big role. That makes sense. What else? I have Shang-Chi. He's a character of interest. I wonder what they do with him if he's just, you know. I wonder what they'll I think he's gonna be part of the Avengers for sure. But what his 10 rings will ultimately do, what they will ultimately mean. You know? He's been given some sort of power, obviously. So Shang-Chi's definitely a character of interest. And I guess the 10 rings are a weapon of interest, if you can say that. Moon Knight, like I was saying before, Moon Knight / Blade, like I have Blade too. Like that whole supernatural side is like another thing where like I don't know. When people talk about Secret Wars from the comics, that event, I feel like I rarely hear anybody talk about these supernatural characters. Like I never hear what Moon Knight does or Blade does or like Man-Thing, Elsa Bloodstone or anything like that. Like if they're even part of it. So it begs the question of like, will they even, how many of these characters will they even use for this whole saga, this whole Battle World thing, this whole Secret Wars thing? Like how many characters will they even use? Will they use everybody? Because we keep hearing they're going to bring legacy characters back too. So we're getting old characters, all kinds of variants, villain legacy characters. So like characters like a Blade, you know, what would they use him for? Yeah, so many rumors, bro, and there's just so many characters flying around that's like I don't even know. I don't even know. It's hard to get an angle for sure. Kevin Feige keeps mentioning Ghost Rider, so Ghost Rider is definitely on the way. I don't know how, but he's definitely he's going to be a part of this thing. There's so many pieces on the board. We did see that like first wave of heroes fight a Kang, right? And you know, it could be like that. They divide them into groups and take on different Kangs. That'd be interesting. That would be interesting. That's a good idea. I kind of like that. Like a Midnight Suns team versus versus a Kang. That'd be crazy. But again, like what's the project that turns everybody from what would make the Midnight Suns team to like Kang? What would make them form up and be a team? Unless we're actually saying this Battle World stuff is like they're actually just grabbing these, you know, like in the comics, like they grab them from whatever universe and they just place them there and they're just together. have to work as a team, which would again be random. See how like there's so much randomness that would happen if it turns out to be this way, like incursions just start happening and battle worlds just starts happening all of a sudden. It's like random chaos. How would people take that? I think probably all these projects in phase 6 is going to have incursions happening. In the beginning of, do you remember the beginning of what's it called? Werewolf by Night. The beginning of that special, didn't they basically say that that's like a pocket dimension as well? Like it's like part of the universe, but it's in its own thing. Like it's in its own place. So like, how does Elsa Bloodstone, Man Thing, Werewolf even meet somebody like Moon Knight or Blade? Or like, what's the project, man, that connects all of these things, man? I'm just so curious. I'm so curious. Zen, what's good, man? What's good? What's good? Just talking this Multiverse Saga. More like I have tons of questions that can't be answered. That's basically what's happening. That's what's going on. So many things, man. Another character of interest for me. Well, what's your most anticipated Marvel project this year? Ooh. Ooh. I'll give a movie and a show. Man. That's a tough question. Secret Invasion is highly anticipated for me. I really want to know how that scroll thing is gonna go, and then how that's gonna wrap up, because we know that ties with Armor Wars a little bit, but how's that gonna wrap up, and then the focus becomes scrolls to Kang. Like, see how my I'm just jumbled up with like how it goes from all the things they're focusing on, this scroll invasion to Kang. But yeah, Secret Invasion is up there. Yeah, I don't want it to be a letdown either, because it's a big comic event. I'm pretty sure. I haven't read it yet. I'm getting there, but I know it's a big comic event, and I want it to be cool. I want it to be good. Loki season 2. I know this is a second show, but Secret Invasion and Loki season 2, I'm very hyped for it. The more I hear about Loki season 2, I'm like, yeah, because I think we're gonna see multiple Kangs now. I think that's the thing now. As far as movies, very interested in the Marvels because I don't know much about it. We don't know anything about it other than just like the powers that these girls have working in tandem look great, and that we get a crazy incursion that happens in that film, which like brings that film to a halt, that's going to be crazy to see. Very interested to see that. And we don't know about the Marvel's villain either. I like that I don't know about the villain. I don't know who the villain is. If there even is like a big villain in that movie. The Hood is supposed to be in Agatha, and we'll have the power to see who's a Skrull and who's not. The Hood gonna be in Agatha? So does he get that power? Are you saying he gets that power from Doom though? Because we all know, like, we think that he has a connection with Doom. Are we saying he gets that power from Doom, or is that just part of his stuff? I don't know much about him. Allegedly, oh yeah, I forgot Mephisto's in. Damn. Even the villains in this saga, man, it's gonna be crazy. Like, if we're really getting Galactus, we're getting more Kingpin. Kang is the big one. We really get Doom if we get Mephisto. Like, that's a Doom, Mephisto, Galactus, Kang, Kingpin. That's a powerhouse 5. That's a power 5. Kang the Conqueror, welcome to the chat, my guy. Yeah, those some real big bads. I was saying how they did my boy Kingpin dirty earlier, but Kang in the chat, bro. Kang in the chat. Also, thank you, man. Appreciate the subscribe. I appreciate that. I'm trying to do this every Sunday where we just hang and talk about either Marvel or whatever the news, crazy news that came out. Right now, I have Multiverse Saga on my mind, so that's kind of what I'm talking about. But yeah, there's a lot to go over. Like, we haven't even hit the DC stuff. I want to talk about that one of these days. Every Sunday though, catch me live. Except for next Sunday, I'll be out and enjoy the Super Bowl with everybody, so don't even worry about it. But yeah, man, try and do these on Sundays. But yeah, like I was saying, as far as movie goes, the Marvels definitely in there. You heard the news about Dev Patel being the... Yeah, I did. I saw that. Hey man, he'd be a solid choice too. Like, I haven't seen too many like terrible choices for Reed. You know, there's been some pretty solid choices, fan castings, but I'm not mad at that either. Like I've been saying, I think Fantastic Four is going to give us a big idea. Like, they're going to give us the, you know, what the story they're trying to tell with Secret Wars. We're going to get the big story through that movie, I think. It's in the past though, right? It's in the past. Like, do you think we'll see the Rama Tut connection with Fantastic Four? It'd be nice if they showed like the Rama Tut stuff, or like give us a little bit of that in Fantastic Four. But Galactus being the first villain that they go against, that's crazy. Also, going back to what you were saying, Zen, with the Hood being in Agatha. So we're saying that he's gonna be able to see scrolls. So the scroll stuff is leaking into the Agatha project as well. I wouldn't mind if Phase 5 is all about scrolls. Low key, like on the low, would be all about scrolls, and we just don't even know it. I wouldn't mind that. Outside of Ant-Man and Quantumania, like Phase 5 just be straight scroll business. And Hood appears first in Ironheart, right? Scroll. Yeah, that's interesting. Scrolls are in and out of these shows. That'd be cool. That'd be exactly how I would envision it. Like, make them a part of everything. So another character that I'm like interested in seeing is Thor. Like, what what's his role in all this. Also, have a question for people that know. I don't know this. Um, Thor's world is different. You know, like with the realms and stuff, like coming from old Asgard or whatever. Like with the realms and all of that, and like even visiting Zeus up in Mount Olympus. Like, are they affected by the incursions as well? Like, is that a thing too, where they are affected by all that stuff, or is it just like off as its own thing as well? I have no idea. I have no idea. That's a true question I'm asking you guys. But these random incursions are going to be crazy to see, and I think they're going to be happening all over Phase 6. Do you think so? I think Asgard was more of a planet they just called a realm. That is true. The ending of Ragnarok, they definitely like left it and they were just like in space. Definitely right. Absolutely right. That makes more sense now. So just to recap some of the projects that we think are going to be happening in Phase 6. Armor Wars for sure. Deadpool 3. Some Spider-Man movie. Shang-Chi 2. Vision Quest, Wonder Man, which is like, man, we got to spend some time with Wonder Man, Vision, White Vision, and there's characters that you want to like spend some time with before all this Secret Wars stuff. So we're invested with these characters, which is why I think Secret Wars is going to be pushed back to 2027. This Doctor Strange 3, they're fast tracking, which I love. I'm very invested in in Strange 3. Moon Knight season 2 or Miss Marvel season 2, possibly. Been hearing rumblings. Midnight Angels seems like that's going to be a thing. My question is, some of these projects, like we've even heard rumors of like a Midnight Suns being part of all of this. We know, we've heard of World War Hulk being something. I think that'll probably be next phase though. So I don't see how that is going to be playing a huge. Well, I don't know. I just don't see it. But if Midnight Suns happens before Secret Wars, that'd be interesting too. And is that happening on Battle World? Because you would have to think that comes after Kang Dynasty. A lot of these things are going to happen after Kang Dynasty, which they're saying is now the in between Kang Dynasty and Secret Wars is Battle World. I'm just like looking at all. I'm looking at all this stuff. And I'm just like trying to piece it. Young Avengers, apparently, possibly a thing that they do before Secret Wars. It would make sense with Cassie and doing her thing. And if they want to do an Iron Lad type thing, and I think the Avengers will lose to me in the Secret War. We are rooting for you, Kane. We are rooting for you. Definitely are. Somebody in the chat earlier said that they think that Doom is taking you out. Somebody said Doom's taking you out. Do you really think we'll get a Hercules movie before Secret Wars? I don't think so. Yeah, Iron Lad's because if Iron Lad comes into play, then we kind of know some of the story they're trying to tell. I asked this before, Zen, but I'm curious because we keep hearing about this Nova project, right? I'm curious of like what, I don't know if you know this. I don't know what role Nova plays in Secret Wars in the comics. I don't even know if he's a thing. So like my question is, what if you bring Nova into this whole thing, what would be his role? Like what would he do? Like what story do you tell there? Like that's a crazy character to bring late in the game. There's a couple characters they're bringing late in the game, like Wonder Man and Nova. If they do those two, are characters that are going to be in it late in the game. That's like hard to get invested in. Let's see. Doctor Strange 3. They're calling it Dimension of Darkness right now, which is kind of cool. Yeah, it's gonna be a lot of projects that are gonna serve as like connecting projects, get us from one place to another. I'm just wondering how they're gonna bring a lot of these characters together. There's gonna be like little teams everywhere. What it feels like. Little teams everywhere with random incursions happening and then battle world, and it's like this. It's gonna be so random. That's my whole worry with this whole thing. It's like it's gonna feel random almost, but it will be kind of explained with Ant-Man, Quantumania, and the Loki series. Is what it feels like. Like I was saying before, some of these projects in Phase 6 are probably going to serve as like mini Avengers projects, mini Avengers movies. They're going to be like Captain America: Civil War, just mini Avenger movie. He was very Kevin Feige was very adamant on there just being, to cap these sagas off with just Avengers movies, but everything else is going to be bigger. Not gonna be just solo movies anymore. It's gonna be bigger. Like for me, like Eternals 2, Shang-Chi 2, Armor Wars, Doctor Strange 3, like those are movies that are gonna be big type movies. Have a bunch of people in it, in my opinion. Hmm. The last thing I want to talk about is Ant-Man Quantumania. Since that's coming out, we'll do another stream before Ant-Man and the Quantumania, Ant-Man and the Wasp Quantumania comes out. I'll do another stream, but I'm really curious about that movie, especially with like, because I think Marvel's thrown a curveball a little bit with like we all been thinking Ant-Man is gonna die. Like that's been my thought since day one, right? With this movie, Ant-Man's gonna die, which he still might. But to me, it's quite possible that Ant-Man also wins. I brought this up in I think in my other stream, my last stream with when I was talking about Ant-Man Quantumania. Like, what if Ant-Man wins and defeats this king somehow? And so that way you're giving Ant-Man justice. You're giving him, you're doing him, giving him his justice or whatever. But you're also the way you can make Kang terrifying still, like not lose his like scariness or whatever, is that you show off more Kangs at the end. Like you get introduced to like a council of Kangs or something like that. You get introduced to like Kangs fighting, or more evil Kangs, and it's like, oh, that was just one of them. Now we got all of these guys, and they're all badasses. I'm starting to think that might be the play, because we've been hearing that this Kang is like a prime Kang, but we also been hearing like there's also going to be multiple Kangs too. So I almost don't think that this Kang that we're seeing in Ant-Man Quantumania is the prime Kang. I don't know if he is the big bad guy at the end of it. At the end of it all, because remember there's that whole thing of like the Beyonder is basically a Kang variant as well, and there's no way that this prime Kang is the Beyonder Kang. You know what I'm saying? That don't make sense. That don't make sense. So to me, this Kang is just a guy stuck in the quantum realm. And then from what we're hearing from Loki season 2, it's gonna be interesting as well. Gonna have multiple Kangs in that too. Apparently there's been some reshoots. Like there's gonna be multiple Kangs in season 2 of Loki. Which that could be cool. That could be cool. Like I could see Loki trying to figure out where to go almost. Like going off of season 1, I could see him trying to like, maybe he's trying to get back to the timeline he knows and warn everybody, but he keeps getting stuck in other timelines and seeing different Kangs and stuff. That could be kind of cool. Also think the big question for Ant-Man Quantumania is, there's two big questions. Who makes it out of the quantum realm and who gets stuck in the quantum realm? Like when do people come out of the quantum realm? I think is a big question. And then I think that hold on, I had it on the tip of my tongue. When they do come out of the quantum realm, when everybody's out, what would have already happened? I've seen theories of like they come out of the quantum realm and Kang Dynasty is basically happening. Like the movie, like Phase 5 is gone, like Phase 5 is finished, all of Phase 6 is finished, and it's Kang Dynasty is happening at that moment. That'd be a cool play too. So like how much time has passed while they've been in the quantum realm? I know time works differently there, so it's quite possible that they come out and it's like it's already like fast forward to in their eyes, you know. Those are my two big questions for this movie. But yeah, that's about it. I think that's about it. Like I went over some of the incursions, like how random that's going to be. Some of these movies, I think, is going to be part of Phase 6, and how they play a role in the whole thing. And then just like I have a bunch of characters of interest, and I'm just like, I don't know what they're going to do with them, including the villains, that's not Kang. Like if Kingpin, Galactus. If Galactus is part of this whole thing, if Doom is part of this thing, what they do. You know, Nova, like what he does. Thor, will he reunite with Loki somehow, some way? If so, like what project is that, you know? And then the Spider-Man story, I think they're telling that Spider-Man story as well. So that's basically, like, my mind is all jumbled because they're so scattered everywhere, and they're trying to do this all in like 6 years, 7 years. And Scarlet Witch, what role does she play in this whole thing? So many questions. I have a lot of questions. It's very different from the Infinity Saga, which was more or less a simple story. Avengers build up to Mad Titan. You know, this one's like a lot of things are happening at once. People scattered. Random incursions are just about to happen. You know, things are going to happen to all these people that are scattered out, and it's going to be seeing how they react to it. You know, how the audience is going to take that. It's one of the things I'm going to be looking forward to seeing. And then how many characters will they decide to use for this event? You know, Kevin Feige did say that some things are connected and some things are standalone. So don't know how many characters they're going to really use as well. But yes, things are just so spread out and just like has my mind like jumbled, and seeing what projects might be in phase 6, how they go from like the transitions, you know. And like I said earlier, I don't want these transitions to happen in post-credit scenes only. Like I don't want it to be like, oh, these team ups are happening in post-credit scenes. Like I want to see them happen in these projects. That's my big thing. So yeah, man, it's going to be a fun ride. I'm looking forward to a bunch of these projects for sure. Phase 5 and phase 6. And yeah, we'll do another stream before Ant-Man Quantumania, just to talk about it, get hype about it together. And yeah, man, stay tuned. I'm looking forward to just hanging out probably every Sunday except for next Sunday. Enjoy the Super Bowl, everybody. But yeah, man, this is something I want to do, is hang out with you guys and just nerd out. It won't always be Marvel. We'll talk games. We'll talk anime. Talk other fantasy stuff, Star Wars. We'll talk all that stuff. But yeah, just kind of wanted to hang out and talk through this Multiverse Saga a little bit. So thank you for hanging out with me. Thanks for being in the chat, going over this stuff with me. And yeah, I'll see you guys in the next video. I'm gonna end it here, and you guys have a wonderful Sunday, and peace out to you guys.